Wisconsin game, first of all, we'll start with that. And just watching it, I personally had the feeling that the first half, like, all right, they're not playing well, maybe a little rusty. We can chalk it up to that. But I didn't feel too worried the entire time. I don't know what it was. I mean, you have a good perspective on that. What did you feel during that first
Yeah,
half? And
I'm the same way. I just didn't feel worried about that game. Stu, you've been through the grind and
yeah,
know as well as I do that there isn't an easy win on the road in the Big Ten. Every game is a fight. So I'm kind of like going through my mind. I'm like, well, we're coming out of a pause. Who would you rather play? And it's like, well, there's not an easy game. You could play Northwestern and you could be in a dogfight. I mean, you just seen the game the other day where Northwestern pretty much had Illinois on the road. So
yeah.
it's just one of these seasons, and that's the makeup of the Big Ten is that, you know, hey, no matter who you play on any given night, you can get beat. And, I just didn't feel like, I feel like they could correct a lot of things. As I watch the game and I see what teams are doing to us in the first half, and I
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, we can make those adjustments because I've seen this team practice. I've seen them play. Well, not just this year. I haven't seen them practice because of COVID, but
Mm-hmm.
the makeup of the team. So me knowing the schemes, me knowing Jawan, the year before COVID hit, I go to film sessions. So I understand how they're going to play this, what their adjustment's going to be. So I might be behind the mic, but I know everything. I pretty much know how they're going to play pick and roll. I know
Yeah.
how this is going to happen. I know whether they're going to double team. So I can pretty much say, if I know it, what guy didn't do it, and that guy's going to come out. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
he didn't make that happen. So those were just some of the insights that I have, from a personal standpoint, is that, I just get to see it. I see it all. Ride on the bus with the guys. I mean, we go to practice. I mean, I eat with the guys. So it's really, really good insight, that I get a chance to just see it all.
Yeah, that's what I love. I think too, Tony Romo calling the NFL games and like dissecting everything, and people are like, wait, what is this? And to, watching a basketball game like to you and me, and especially knowing the insights, you're like, where the rotations are coming, what they're supposed to be doing on this pick and roll coverage. But what do you see that maybe they can improve on? Because right now there's so many great things to say. We can go into that, but what is a couple things you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, when you're 14-1, it's really hard to
Yeah,
say. Um, just the consistency overall. I would like to see them. I know they always make their halftime adjustments, but I would like to see them come out in the beginning of the game and make those adjustments on the fly. I always tell my broadcast partner Brian Bush. I always tell him, I was like, Helene Ford is lighting us up behind three, and I look over at him and we'll talk at halftime. I was like, we'll correct that. I said he won't have no more than one. I'll just write it down on the sheet. And then the next thing you know, Helene Ford ain't got but 1-3 in the second half. And he looked at me like, how'd you know that? I said, well, I understood the adjustment. And
yeah,
I know that Coach Howard schemes that he's not going to let you beat him twice on something, throughout the course of the game. You're not going to just, light us up in the first half with threes and then light us up in the second half. We're going to make adjustments. And that's exactly what they did against Wisconsin was pretty much, hey, we're going to make these adjustments. And I just said, hey, they're going to be able to do it, and, during the course of the game or the comeback, I was just basically saying, like, when you come back, you always have that saying you want to get it within 10, get it within 10.
mm-hmm.
And then they had that little hurdle there. It was a 6-point hurdle. They couldn't break 6. And I'm like, man, and then you seen Jawan get a timeout. And then we had another hurdle of like 3. And you've played in so many games where you wasted so much energy trying to get back into the game and just fall short. And I said, well, if we get the lead, they can go back up, but at least we have a mindset that we can take that lead again because
Yeah,
we had it. So I thought that's exactly what happened was when Michigan got that lead, I think Wisconsin might even went back up by 1 or 2 points. But, at that point, Michigan's confidence was at an all-time high, and they just kind of felt, hey, we can win this ball game now.
yeah. Once you break that seal, I was talking to a buddy, and it's like, for whatever reason, I always thought about breaking 9 and then breaking 6, and then once you get there, you're like, all right, we're good. Like
Okay.
that's a bucket and a 3, and we're good.
Yeah, everybody's got a formula, but I just
Yeah,
feel like you got to be able to get over that hump and actually see it. And
Yeah.
Michigan was able to see it and seeing that they took the lead. I was like, oh yeah, they're going to get this one for sure.
Yeah. I want to ask you about the post and Hunter in the post and some of their movement. I think that they can utilize their IQ off the ball a little more, and they throw it into Hunter and they get just a little bit stagnant. Hunter doesn't have quite the space that he needs. I don't know your thoughts on that, but I just feel like there's so much that they're good at off the ball as well that they can take advantage of.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that definitely will come into play. Um, they always use a term of the game slowing down. I think that was probably one of the things that Hunter had coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to have that patience of catching it on the post and letting guys double team, understanding where a double team is coming from, and passing out of a double team. And as well as I do, I mean, most of the time you throw it into a big guy, he's making a move before anything else happens. Instead of, hey, let that guy go through. Let's see where these the motions are coming in at. And I think that he does a good job at that. And I just think that weak side action is definitely going to start to come to life. And I've even said it on the broadcast. I say I really feel like Hunter will end up with a triple double at least 2 or 3 times in his career.
Have you ever had a triple double?
Never.
Never. But you
No.
passed. You were a good
Yeah.
passer.
Yeah, I wasn't a bad passer, but no, never.
Yeah,
Well,
it's tough.
they didn't do it like that. It was always
That's true.
it's
That's
always
true.
that old funny kind. I wasn't John Stockton where he could pass the ball and 10 dribbles could happen and they gave him an assist. It don't work that way. It's kind of what a big man. If you don't throw it to somebody, he don't shoot it. They don't give them to him. Where a guard is, you could dribble around, throw it to a guy. He could dribble between his legs 3 or 4 times, shoot the basketball, and they give you an assist for it. So I think big guys are judged a little bit different when it comes to that assist.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. It's not fair, but it's never usually fair for the big fellas anyways.
No, it's not. And especially I think you need some home cooking at the same time. Like hey, give him an assist for that. That's an assist. Where you're definitely not going to do it on the road because you know how the statisticians are on the road. They won't give you anything.
Oh, I played with guys. They knew the statistician by name. They're like looking at him during the game, like, yeah, that was an assist. Count that.
Right, right. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask you about Franz and his development. And it's only one ball, like you said before. Um, I think his aggressiveness has been pretty good. I think there can still be, a little better because his talent is so big and it can be so overwhelming for teams. But where do you see his progress?
Yeah, I just feel like, not only just him, I mean, we're going to talk about him, but he's just a real unselfish kid.
Yeah,
I could say that about even a lot of Michigan players, when you talk about Hunter, these guys aren't hunting shots, and no matter what the coaching staff says to him, he wants to play a certain way
hmm
and he wants to play within a system because I've sat in film sessions where the coaches have said, hey, man, you got to go hunt some shots. You got to get you some shots. And then I'd look over at him like, I haven't had it. Too many coaches say, go hunt shots and go
yeah,
get them, but still, even he would even go out and even the next game he would play that way. But I think overall his defense has just been impressive. I mean, with him having that ability to block shots and taking guys off the dribble, I mean, he's not going to do anything but get better. I mean, I love his energy, and he's just going to take it step by step. And what I love about these guys is that the fact that they're living in the moment and living for today. I
yeah,
touched on it before. Um, you don't hear any rumblings about, hey, yeah, I'm going to get ready to go to the NBA or whatever else have you. And I think having a coach like Juwan Howard who has been through that, I don't think he's going to be selfish. And once he gets the information and be like, hey, yeah, you need to move on, you need to go. This is your time. I think he's going to give a good advice on that because you even see the way he's even recruiting right now. He's not going to be holding guys up. You're getting 5-star guys, and if you're ready, hey, go ahead, do what you
yeah.
need to do.